For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast. Sharks 22, Eels 34 in an uninspiring Sharks performance that sees the Sharks probably lose their top spot in the NRL competition ladder. Thanks for joining us on the ET Stand Podcast, the only podcast that lets it's talking to the football. Please do hit the like button if you are enjoying the video. And if you're new to the channel or new to the ET Stand or just new to watching stuff with us on things in general, do hit the subscribe button because it does notify you of all of our videos and just helps us with the algorithm, informing everyone. Joining us on this episode, we've got man of the people, Lats. Oh, goodness. We're 0-2 since Boldo's been back in the country. This is true.
You do the math.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm just the mock. And regular Debrief legend, panelist, and leader of the Debrief, really spiritual leader, Franco, is going to try and talk us through that one. As I let Franco compose his thoughts, I'll throw to you first, Lats. What are your feelings coming out of that?
Oh, mate, frustration. We showed glimpses of our attacking brilliance to have it taken away and be Ashley Klein when we had a bit of momentum there early in the second half. Some positive signs to come out of it, a few of the guys, but just underwhelming, really. In the end, mate, just very underwhelming. Like you take your best two players out of any side and insert the best two players from the other team in, it's going to be hard, but I thought we'd go a little bit harder than that.
There's nothing like a match against the Sharks to bring anyone back into form. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Stephen, for chucking that in there. I was going to try to do that, but Franco, where do we start debriefing and chatting on that one?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that one. That was almost gut wrenching. That was a bit worse than the Penrith match for me, because I think Penrith was a bit more of a foregone conclusion, whereas here I maybe still believed closer towards the end of that game that we might come back and might steal the win there. Obviously that wasn't to be, but just that tussle certainly makes it feel a lot worse than say what happened last week. But yeah, it was an interesting one.
Just compounds last week, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Or did we just get too used to winning?
No, I don't think so. I mean, apart from some people in the group talking about streaks and things, I don't think we really took it for granted. I will say though, as a team on the top of the ladder, sure, getting beat by Penrith, the team that has won the last 3 seasons, that is what that is. But we probably should have expected to beat Parramatta, right? If we are legitimate, if we're saying we're top of the ladder, if we're a title contender this year, understanding we're down on troops thanks to Origin, we still really should have put Parramatta to the sword on this game and should have expected to win. The fact that we didn't, that's a bit sad, a little bit concerning. The back-to-back losses isn't great. I mean, I'm sure we will talk about it later on, but we really looked flat. We really looked tired. I'm not sure where that's come from. One of our mates sent us a text message saying, is there a chance that there's a virus going through the squad that hasn't been reported on? I'm not sure. Who knows? But it certainly looks as though the guys were flat and not up to it. Was that because they've had a lot of travel with the Melbourne match and then the Roosters match up at Magic Round in Brisbane and then back down here off the back of
short turnaround?
Short turnaround, yep.
Turnaround off the back of being up for quite a long period of back-to-back wins. it all adds up, and maybe it's just taken its toll, and it's that reset button we need. But in saying that, the best teams, when they hit that reset button, it's normally not back-to-back losses, and that's a bit of a shame.
That's always been the way for us, though. We can't seem like we get touched up. You see teams getting touched up, like even like a Tigers outfit, and they come and put on a show the next week. We can't seem to get that right. We never have been able to get that right. It's I don't know what it is. If it's just like a hoodoo sort of mind game thing, it really messes with us. As I said, I know it's hard losing your best two players to Origin, but as of weeks gone by, those players that have stepped in have stepped up, and there's no real excuse for it.
I think you shouldn't underestimate losing the two players. Nico is the halfback and the franchise player. Like that was always going to be difficult to replace. So look, we had a couple of comments coming through. So do get your comments in the show. SJD, remember when Klein called a strip when the ball wasn't even dropped?
Howlers, that guy. Howlers.
I think he called a rake, SJD. I think he called a rake.
Yeah.
Which would have been better for us, but they challenged that successfully, and it was just the fifth tackle that we just did a standard old hit up at the barge over hit up.
Hunt went to play the ball. He didn't even know it was the last, so awareness.
He didn't know it was the last, did he?
No.
And then nextly, Ryan, I just want to say happy birthday to you, mate.
Oh, happy birthday, mate.
So Ryan, for the benefit of those on Spotify, has come through and said, not going to lie, boys, that one hurt to lose to the Eels, especially out on my birthday. Look, we're not going to make it worse by singing you happy birthday, Ryan, but just remember, we said it during the week. It's the losses and the fun of being a Sharks fan. Some highs and some lows, and we all feel it together. And it was a bit of a bummer tonight, but we're going to be back, guys. So I think we're going to be okay. So before we get into Franco, the Franco files, I think I'm going to call him from the match. Might be the thing to call him from this. I'm going to put a public warning out there right now. We are about to admit a man into the studio who went out to the match, and I tell you what, he was particularly angry on the ET stand group text message. And we're going to let him in.
Is it the right Williams? Because I got another Williams calling in, mate.
Oh, so your mate Williams also.
It could be. Equally, put that I don't know, that warning out anyway, because I know how he feels about how we went. So might be equally as concerning.
Okay, well, in that case, let's bring in this Williams. Let's just go. Hold on, we'll go to the four-person view. Hey, Williams, how you doing?
G'day, gents. Can you hear me?
That is our Matty Williams.
Can you hear me? It is Matty Williams.
Hey,
I am unhappy. I am driving, obviously, so therefore audio only via the Mazda 2 Bluetooth. But gee, that was insipid. They were just, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, like, did we believe too soon? Is there a virus going to the camp? Did they just reverse Queensland and not let out? Because it actually has. Because it was so flat. Like, even when we scored early, I was like, we're not moving. We're just, like, I don't want to point out Big Tom. Like, obviously, he had a huge few weeks against the Storm and the Roosters. But he wasn't great.
2 weeks in a row now.
But the whole team, admittedly after, so we were sitting at I think it was the southern end with the Sharks fans. We conceded 2 quick tries, both soft. Straight after the second try, there was a big huddle. There was lots of chat from Ronaldo, there was lots of chat from Teague. And I was like, here we go, let's go, boys. We're up for it. And then, again, more just one out, slow play, no movement. Like, regularly in defence, they were just, like, not, like, I can understand not moving up. You got to conserve energy, but there was just not moving use. And a lot of players, I don't want to say individuals, a lot of players had forgetful nights. It just seemed like someone burst the balloon. Don't know why, don't know how. Royce Hunt was standout man of the match, and most of the bench were actually, I'd say the whole bench was great at turning the game for a little bit, but you're not going to go anywhere in the top, let alone make top 2 or top 4 with defence like that. So that's why I was so angry. I'm blaming the street talk. It's all you, David Balderman. It's me for getting sucked into doing it as well. And newsflash, people, I will not be putting out a top 5 SH1T Sharks losses or anything this week. It's only going to be positive. I know what's going to be, but it can't be losses to nil or any of that stuff. But anyway,
back-to-back losses, Williams.
Yeah, I'm on Windsor Road and there's people sitting at the lights next to me staring at me going, what is this guy doing ranting and raving in his car? But anyway, that's me.
So if anyone has any suggestions for what William should do for his history segment on the Tuesday night show this week, I do get them into the comments. We do like
the other thing that's got me more angry, that's not even related, was I was going to cover the 2004 Sharks-Broncos win when Sam Mugger scored 2 tries, and there's no footage anywhere on the internet. And I'm like, NRL, you're a joke. I've been climbed. We've all been climbed. Anyway, rant over.
All right. Well, lucky you weren't at home and broken any remote controls there, Williams.
Yeah. You just said Ronan. There was the peaks and troughs of like from the Kennedy try and the Rabian try and the Atkinson play. There might be a chance here to how can we be playing like this when we beat the Roosters in the Storm? I will give a shout out to whoever you are. I hope you listened to the show. I didn't get a chance to give it a plug because I was too traumatised afterwards. But he was talking to his son. He was a Sharks fan. And he said, we're doing a Robin Hood. Obviously, we're stealing from the rich and we're giving to the poor. Parramatta were the poor tonight. And we were poorer than them. But I thought that was a good line, good analogy to explain to a young single-digit Sharks fan. But anyway, frustration still exists.
All right, well, you want to give us a man of the match, Matty, before you exit? We get into the
Royce Hunt, he said.
Royce, yeah, and Ronan's in the back here. Royce Hunt, he picked the first try scorer. But Royce Hunt was just murdering people. You did pick the so Ronan picked the first and second try scorers. There you go. Well, second try was Tennessee. But yeah, no, I think the second Cronulla try. There we go. Ronan's supposed to be asleep at the school night, but anyway, we're almost done.
That's how
we've got to start calling Royce the killer. The killer from
about as well as the Sharks, Matty.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for rubbing it in there, David.
I'm sorry that I pulled out of coming to the match too at the last minute. I just had a feeling this was coming, and I just didn't want to be you.
Well, I was calling you to give Ronan's prediction for the match. I think for those playing at home, it was a 20-all draw, which looked somewhat likely at one stage. But anyway, now we've got to start calling Royce the killer from Kalgoorlie. He's been on fire the last 2 weeks in insipid performances. So hopefully he keeps it up. Which is a good problem to have, really, because he kind of came in like, Tapua's looking good. We've got a plethora of props, but I think Kafusi and Tommy are looking a bit tired. They're obviously very capable, but a bit tired. It's a bit of a mid-season flip. So, yeah, I don't know. Big game, tough game next week as well. Anyway, talk about it on Tuesday. That's me done. I'll let you guys go back to your rant.
Now, Matthew, when you're leaving the stream, can you try not to shut us off this time?
Well, I don't have admin access tonight. I made sure of it. So you can punt me, and I'll re-access via other means. Anyway.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. We'll see you
happy venting. Happy venting.
We'll see you on Tuesday night.
Ciao.
See you, mate.
There he was, Matthew Williams, our man on the ground. There's a very cute clip from him and Ronan giving the first try scorer advice.
It's on our Instagram, I think, on our story.
Yeah. Let's go through some of the more comments. Craig Gearon's conceded over 100 points in 3 games now. Defense in shambles now. Craig, you are not wrong. And what makes that even more worrying is just the for and against just puts us the bottom of the count backs now. So when people catch up to us, that will not be so good. SJD's come through and said, remind me not to buy a Mazda 2.
Shouldn't need reminding of that.
Yeah, Aussie
it's just
Devils
a given.
Come through, and kicking was the big difference. Trindle and Atkinson were way off. Moses hit our 5-metre line. Geez, wasn't Moses kicking good?
Yeah.
I think you're right there, Aussie Devil. Moses is kicking, just getting in and behind. I
thought Trindle had some good kicks. I thought he found the grass on a few, split the back two there for Para, but I don't know. I think he took on a bit too much. I don't think he shared it around with Atkinson very well. Atkinson looks good with the ball. I would have liked to see him get a bit more ball, but I don't know whether he thought he had a point to prove with what's happened or not. Who knows? But it's. I just thought he just sort of took a bit too much on himself there.
And then SJD has come through. Coach SJD saying Hazelton back to the bench. Couple of bad defensive lapses from Hazelton this week. We've had plenty of people coming in to watch the show. If you're new to us and just jumping in now, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And earlier on, up in the chat, we did put the link. If anyone wants to dial in, like our friend Maddie, and get involved in the show, do click on that link. That'll be a lot of fun. And we'll just sneak Peter Bissett in here saying no communication in defence. Very concerning. All right, let's go to. I'm now just dubbed just then the Franco files, where Franco takes us through the play-by-play. Now, we've had brilliant feedback on this, Franco. People are texting me saying, how good is Franco's play-by-plays analysis of these matches? So no pressure or anything.
It's all across the socials.
Not sure I believe you, but thank you very much if true. Appreciate it, everyone. Even if it's a loss, eh? So obviously everyone was really excited for tonight for the bounce back. There were a lot of people predicting the Sharks to win, and that we would sort of go on with it even without our two big heavy hitters in Nico and McInnes out for Origin. In the 5th minute, our 3rd set in a row, 6 again earned from a Brayley dart, and then an Atkinson kick dropped by Gutho. From the posts, went through the hands out wide to Katoa, who puts it down in the corner on his 100th game. I was a bit concerned that it might have been called back. However, Nakora hit his inside shoulder, so it was all good. And with that first try in the first 5 minutes, clearly, the pundits might have been right. Here we go, Sharks on, we're going to win this one. Good vibes were all around. 10 minutes later, or 10 minutes after the repeat set there of their own, Parramatta playing the ball 5 out, centre field, pass out right through the hands. Sharks looking a bit slow to come across and man up in conjunction with Iro falling off a tackle. Sees Penasini scoring 5 in from touch. I guess this is one of those scenarios that we've been sort of talking about in the past, that Ronnie keeps coming in and maybe he doesn't have a bit of faith in Iro in defence. He stays out on this occasion, and Iro slides off, and it's a try, which is a bit concerning. 15 minutes in after losing the yardage game, Parramatta looking quick with a couple of decoy runners, has the Sharkies flat-footed and leaving Katoa infield, losing sight of the ball, and Sivo scores his customary try against the Sharks, basically scoring a try every 5 minutes now. So, it's one of those things that is looking like there's going to be a bit of a cricket score here. 23rd minute, a set that starts out from their own 20-metre line. Parramatta runs it on the last with the Sharks short on their right side. Sivo tramples Kennedy to score. That said, I do feel as though Ramian gave up on the chase. I would have liked to have seen him try and get involved and stop the try. If he was committed, I'm not sure if he would have been able to, but like I said, I would have liked to have seen him attempt it. It was a bit of a shame.
I thought Franco, that try, I remember calling that one out in my notes. I just thought the speed of the spread from Moses and the Parramatta guys was super fast and super wide in terms of just how quickly they were able to pinpoint our short right side defense. I remember thinking, I wonder if the Sharks would be able to do the same thing there.
The reason why we were short there was, like I said, it was on the last. They ran on the last instead of kicking. Toa was dropped back to take the kick, which gave them that overlap. Obviously, Sivo is a big, strong runner, so you get him one-on-one with anyone, it's gonna help. From memory, I think Nakora shoots out of the line to try and cover that overlap, which sort of breaks down the defensive line even further. But really, there was a stage, like I said, there it looked like Ramian sort of throws his hands up in disgust and gives up when Kennedy comes across and puts his body in front of Sivo, slows him down a bit, and had Ramian been on the chase, maybe he could have done something to help stop that, push him out or something. Who knows?
Kennedy's one-on-one defense has never been that good. We do Celia Williams 2.0. We're going to get you in after the Franco file. So just hold on tight. We're expecting you to come in pretty hot after this. So you are going to be we've got our second person coming through. So just sit tight, Williams 2.0. We are going to get you in shortly. All right. So what was it then? Was it 10-4 by then, Franco?
Sure. Sounds good. At this stage, offloads are killing us, and our usual strong outside backs are being kept pretty quiet and starting to crab sideways. the Parramatta defenders are really sort of up and in and targeting them on those first couple of sets. So it's really sort of starting to take its toll and really losing the yardage battle there. In the 35th minute, after a couple of clearing kicks from Trindle to try and give us some breathing room, Moses does similar and kicks it deep to Kennedy. He crabs across and dummies and then gets it to Mulatalo, who has a shimmy and shake, has Moses slipping and clutching at air. He gets a bit of a clean space and then dummy steps Gutho before getting it back inside to Kennedy, who started it off and now finishes it with a 75-metre run to score under the posts. Lovely stuff, and obviously the highlight of the night for most Sharks fans. Now at halftime, 16-10, Parramatta's way. Yep. Our boys looking tired, patchy for a lot of that half, barely getting out of our own end. But at the end there, those last 10 minutes, Talakai, Rudolph and Hunt coming off the bench really seemed to lift the team a bit. How are you feeling at this stage, guys?
I thought it flattered us, that score, to be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking good. I thought, we just jammied that try and, we're back in it. Lats?
Yeah, we got starved there from, we had there were those two wrong calls by Klein at the other end. And then to have all those 6 agains on our line down the other end just took all the wind out of our sail, didn't it?
Absolutely. So not long into the second half, we get our first challenge by debutant captain Wilton on the strip / drop ball. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was the Moses foot to try and deflect the kick, play the ball 6 again. So that was nice. A little moment for him. In the 48th minute, a questionable crusher sees Parramatta kick a penalty downfield and get 3 sets of 6. Again, off the back of quick play the balls. There was some great goal line defence here, but in the end, Paulo manages to barge over the line, carrying a chunk of Sharkies with him and leaving another chunk on the ground behind him. Really sort of disappointing, considering at this stage we were kind of on top of the game. We'd fought our way back in. We were starting to dominate the ruck, starting to dominate possession, and this sort of happened and sort of put us back on our seat. After that, a high shot on Brown from Trindle has Gutho pointing at the post to take the 2. Sharkies now need 3 scoring opportunities. I don't know how you guys were feeling, but I thought we could still do it at this stage.
No, I thought we were done as soon as they got to the 3 scores.
Yeah, I thought we still had a sniff. I was hopeful, cautious but hopeful.
In the 57th minute from out, Moses calls for the blindside play, where there's an overlap. He dummies past Mulatalo and then passes out to Simonson, who runs the extra 20 to score in the corner. This was a pretty sad one to see. Obviously, it was just showing sort of what Williams was talking about earlier. Parramatta just been a lot faster than us, a lot more up-tempo, and caught us off guard there with that one. In the 61st minute, we get a repeat set from a Trindle bomb. Then Atkinson, one off the ruck, steps back inside and wrestles Gutho over the try line to score. Just a classic 5/8 try, which we might see again in a little bit. In the 65th minute, there's a nice deep offload from Ueli to Nakora, who sends it to Ramian with a bit of space. He winds up and straightens up the attack, and as he gets to the defensive line, he passes it out to Katoa, who finishes off a near 80-metre set with a try. It's his second for the night and kind of puts the Sharkies back in the game. Could we be up for a grandstand finish? Who knows? We know.
That was a nice little try, that one. That was nice work there from Ramian to draw Gutho in before he slotted it out, gave Katoa plenty of space. Great offload. I didn't even see Nakora running on the screen until he's just caught the ball. That was nice little right side play.
It was a great offload, and I've got to say, I generally give Ramian a hard time for his ball handling skills, but that was a proper centre manoeuvre there. Straightening up the attack, giving his winger some space, and then offloading it as he got to the defensive line. It was really well done. So excellent try there. And then In the 68th minute, we make our first error of the night with Ueli dropping it cold, about 15 out from our line. And unfortunately, as we've seen pretty much time and time again the last few weeks, we cannot defend errors or penalties. And so off the back of that, Brown changes the direction of play and steps inside Hazelton, then Nakora. And with Ueli and Kennedy over chasing, he gets some space and dives over in what looks like a very similar try from the Luai try last week. Trindle kicking 3 from 4 has the full-time score with Para up 34-22.
Recount of the match. All right, let's go to. All right,
Got a couple of callers in the green room, mate.
couple of callers. Again, we just need to stress they're all coming in with warnings. So we're going to bring in Williams 2.0. G'day, Williams 2.0. I don't know if you're allowed to smoke or have a cigar on YouTube, but I guess we're about to find out. G'day, mate. How you doing?
Shouldn't be having one after that game anyway.
Mate,
What are your
I think
feelings
some of us
coming out
are
of that
smoking
match?
because the boys were shit tonight. They were
Yeah.
average. Like, you look at the intensity in defence. Where is it? I mean,
Yeah.
someone said earlier, like, Para a faster team. Name a faster team name a team that hasn't been faster than us in defence. Like, our line speed is absolute trash.
They all look like solo defenders out there tonight. There was no, I don't know, there was just no click amongst them. They just, they were just out on their feet.
But it's also the effort plays. Like there was the kick chase where Trindle was the only one that was on the kick chase, and thankfully managed to tackle.
Hence the reason Gutho got so many run meters. Our kick chases have been poor.
Like,
late.
Yep,
if one of you pull up the stats, right?
This is good. Keep going. What
One
else?
of you pull up the stats from NRL.com.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their forwards. Look at their forwards. How many 100 meters? We had one guy averaging over 10 yards a carry. It was Talakai.
Who doesn't get enough minutes as it is.
He doesn't, but at the same time, he's the only one. Him and Royce were amazing tonight. Amazing.
Royce was huge, wasn't he?
Oh, Royce's hit on, I can't remember who it was, but
RCG
launched
him.
to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Backflipped him, mate. It was a beauty.
Yeah, how good
He
was that?
absolutely, and I think Nakora took credit for it, but I don't think he had much to say about it. But you look, just look. There's 2 tries from us tonight that they're inside our half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were fortunate.
Yep. We fluked it pretty much. That first try from that set up from Kennedy and Mulitali was unbelievable. One of the best tries.
Yeah, but that was a Ronaldo setup though, wasn't it? Like
no, it was Kennedy set up to Ronaldo to Kennedy.
Yeah, and you look at it, there's no effort in defence though. Like Fitzy's the defensive coach, and I love Fitzy, but what's he doing?
We miss Cam McInnes on that front tonight, big time. Although surely you think we miss Cam McInnes tonight.
Williams, you sure we're not just underestimating the impact of losing our top 2 players? Like it is a pretty big deal.
I think we only missed McInnes tonight.
What do you think?
If you look, we beat Melbourne without Nico.
I think it's worth remembering, though, as one of our commenters pointed out not long ago, our defence has been shot for the last 3 weeks. But before then, we were the best defensive team in the comp. So it's certainly a
we played crap
yin and yang scenario where
you could
be right. You could be right, Boldo. It could be a flat track bully scenario.
What did the Tigers put on us?
I don't know.
Yeah, but the Tigers were pumped up for that match. So actually, if you look at it,
32.
Like if you look at it,
put on us in the first 20 minutes.
18, wasn't it? Canberra.
A lot of flaws that have been masked over by the bad teams we played.
Yep. Yeah, totally agree with you on that one.
And I'm telling you,
I think you're onto something here, Williams 2.0. Like,
there's a lot of Sharks fans saying we're winning the comp this year. Don't make me laugh. It's almost as laughable as the Dragons winning the comp this year.
Well, look, I'm going to put this out there. The Sharks are more likely to win the comp than the Dragons this year.
More than likely. But we've got to wait a year. We've got to wait for Adam to come because he's the only guy that's going to make 150 a game.
All right. So what changes would you make, Williams? Your stand-in coach for next week. What team do you name? Who do you bring in? What do you do against the Broncos on a Saturday night in Suncorp?
Pray. If Reece Walsh is back and the boys are back, Nico's not playing next week. There's no doubt. He can't. He won't.
No,
back up
I don't think
until
you'll expect him to play. Cam will back up. Cam will back up.
Possibly, depending on what happens.
Yeah. What are your
Pretty
thoughts
sure
on?
You've got to start you early.
I think, yeah. What are your thoughts on how Nico will do in Origin and the impact that'll have on the Sharkies moving forward?
I think he'll play well. Whether or not he's going to last a full game, that's my problem.
Yeah, that might also be the problem.
I
I
don't
think
think
he'll
he'll
last the game.
play the full
I just don't know how he'll pull up from it.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll last the full game.
All right, 2 more questions for you, Williams. Anything else you want to share with us or thoughts on the match before we ask you for your man of the match?
What do you make of Trindle and Atkinson?
Trindle is going to take a few weeks.
So he's a bit rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I could say something, but let's keep it PG.
Correct.
I think Atkinson's ahead of Trindle in the pecking order. I think he's speed off the mark.
I think you might be right there.
And his defense is much better.
All right, and then lastly, Williams, man of the match for you.
Jesus, how do you pick a man of the match from that? I'll give it to Talakai. The impact he had off the bench was incredible.
I think that's probably right. All right, legend. Well, thanks for joining us and coming in. It's just brilliant, high energy. That is the sort of stuff the Sharks get off the bench, actually. So, yeah, thanks for coming in.
Anytime,
legend.
We'll definitely, definitely
good
get
to see you.
I'll chin
You
up,
too,
mate.
Lappy.
We'll see you next time.
See you, Rob.
later.
He's a legend, wasn't he?
He's a good. He knows his stuff, Williams.
What an absolute legend, that guy. Jeez, we get him on again. We've got a second-time caller coming in
Mate,
second.
I'd give an even bigger warning on this one.
Oh, even bigger warning.
I got some messages from him during the game, and
let's just go through the comments before we get this.
Can we delay this?
I think we might need an 8-second delay. Anyway, let's just go through the comments. G'day, Harley. Harley's in here saying Sam Stone Street. We all need some Sharky Sam Stone Street. Sawariro, please, what was the full-time marching? Yeah, that was, I think I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, that was a bit tough. Look, Franco, your number one fan, SJD, has said good summary, Franco, but not enough use of Klein.
SJD, I've got a little footnote here to talk about Klein in a bit, so we'll get to him.
Very good.
Harley comes from a massive Sharks fan like you guys. I think that was a bit of love for some of the other. I think that was for Williams 2.0. Peter Bissett's come through and said this year is 1999, not 2016. I think that's right. And then Harley's calling for Billy Burns to come into the team as well. And then lastly, SJD's calling Williams 2.0, Doomer 2.0. Well, if you think that guy was Doomer 2.0, his next character is look, Craig Gear's come out and talked about Trindle, knows how good our depth is. I don't know if our depth on the ET stand is that good because we're going to get him in. Here he is.
Look out.
All right, look out. All the way from Islands. All right,
yeah,
Jimmy.
It's times like this we need the post-match presentation where I can stand up and tell all the fans what I actually think of them.
What do you think of that, mate?
You know, I tell you what really annoys me is it's the same crap as last year, right? Beginning of last year, it's like, oh, isn't our team doing well? Aren't our forwards doing well? And then we went to absolute crap. We all get excited. Our forwards are standing up, all this kind of stuff. And it just feels like the same thing over again. Like the one thing I would say, well, I have many things to say, but would Melbourne have lost 42-0 to Penrith? Would the Roosters have lost 42-0 to Penrith?
No.
Right? Would the Broncos lose 42-0 to Penrith? No, but we did. And if those teams did, would they lose the next game? No. Did we? Yes. And okay, Hines was out, whatever. I don't care, right? Penrith had Cleary out, right? Brisbane have Reynolds out. So cry me a river about it, right? Like honestly, we got to look at the bunch of crippled teams that we've played this year. There are a bunch of it's half the competition belong in bloody New South Wales Cup, right? The Warriors are hit and miss. They're a joke of a team. The Bulldogs, whatever you reckon about them, they're a joke as well. I don't care what they're improving. Whatever.
They're a joke.
Right?
They're rubbish.
Yeah. Tigers are a pure comedy team that we lost to. Cowboys are a joke, right? South, we barely won. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, right? Like we played them when they had the bench basically done for, and we fell over the line against them. I don't care what anyone says. That's true. I'm just reflecting now, and 2 weeks ago I was all high and mighty. Now I'm on the ledge again, right? Raiders, we won 40-0, but then before that we were down 18-0, which was absolute comedy, right? Roosters, I think we were lucky to win, and we conceded 30 points in a I guess an entertaining game.
Roosters were on top of us, weren't they, Jimmy?
They were. We got
They were
lucky.
on top.
We got lucky.
They were
We
on
got
top.
lucky. We probably should have lost that game, but we didn't. Melbourne, Munster was clearly cooked, right? His grind was no good. Okay, yeah, they're missing Hughes, right? And yeah, okay. To be fair on our side, we pulled a blinder in that game. I don't know.
No papping out.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about all this, and we turn it around next week. I also and I hope Hines' calf played an issue last week. Like I really hope that was part of his problem, kicking it out twice in the full and everything, because I worry about his mental fragility. I'm sorry. I have to say it.
It could be.
Right.
It could be
No, that's
disastrous.
fair point.
Couldn't it? Like that performance from.
And
Moses,
I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. But,
don't you
But a
just
strong performance in Origin could do wonders for us. So I guess it could go either way.
Yeah. So
Just don't play him at centre.
I hope in 12 rounds from now, I look back on this and go, "What an idiot! You're completely wrong." I hope I'm wrong. Right? I don't know. Where's the ledge? I've got to jump off it.
Are there any positives, Jimmy?
Yeah, the game's over.
Yeah, it was positively crap.
Yeah. Our completion rate, we made one error. And Ueli, you're going to make an error. Just pick the perfect time to do it, mate. Right? Just get back in the game, and I'm just going to drop the ball when actually we're only down by 6 at that point.
That blinder of a pass which led to the try just before it.
No, come on. And we're also really good at giving away back-to-back penalties. We can moan about Klein and all that, and he's a clown, right? But every week it just seems, let's give him, like, the teams.
The 6 agains are killing us.
Oh, my God. So, I don't know. Disband the club. Let's go support someone else. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know.
Jimmy, you know what you're going to do? By Thursday next week, Friday next week, you'll start to believe again, and you'll be convinced.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be convinced. Look, I don't think
we always do rather well against the baby Broncos, don't we? So
in Suncorp.
Yeah.
Great. Look, maybe it's just a mid-season slump and we bounce back. And
look, we've lost 3 games all season. Hopefully, we can build on it. Let's see what happens.
What would you do for team selections next week, Jimmy? Who do you pick? How do you pick? Who do you pick, and when do you pick?
I'm not going to be. I don't think you can start making wholesale changes. I think Hines comes back, McInnes comes back. I don't think Williams starting at lock works. If you ask me, he's much better off impact off the bench.
Yep.
I would just, assuming Hines comes back. I'm not sure between Trindle and Atkins. I like Trindle's kicking game. He's got a big long kick, but Hines Atkins is a good runner, right? So that they bring something different. I don't know what I would do there, but for the rest, you'd have McInnes coming back and lock Williams to the bench. On the bench, you'd have Ueli, Williams, Talakai.
You couldn't leave Hunt out after tonight.
Maybe, I don't know. But
I think you're putting Talakai back to the centres.
Kale Lero, he missed a few tonight, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I probably wouldn't tinker with it just yet. Because we got to remember last year, Talakai was getting found out in defence as well, right? Like with his lateral movement. So I don't know.
I just think if Talakai is one of our best players, we keep talking about him as being the final boss and all that stuff, Franco, don't you think? We're going to get him some more time.
So Iro out wide, I don't think is a threat. He
that's true.
Chalks up a lot of meters. He's solid, but he's not a threat. He's not trampling blokes ad nauseum. He's not, attracting defenders to make space out wide. He doesn't have the same silky hands that Talakai has. So I think while he's serviceable and while we were down on troops, it was a perfect combination for us. And you know what? The experience has been great for him, and I do think he's got a long future in first grade. However, as it stands with troops back, full health, we've now got a bench that could be a combination of Williams, Rudolph, Lueli, Hunt, Tapua. We don't need Katoa in that bench anymore. We need him
with Colquhoun to come
80
back too.
minutes, with Colquhoun coming back, playing this weekend. So we need Talakai on the field 80 minutes. Obviously, he works well with Multalo.
Montala's not getting as many tries since.
No.
Since and that
These last few weeks, it's been all up the middle though, really.
That edge defense was strong this season while they were there as a combination, and we've just seen that it start to go backwards without Talakai there. So yeah, I think one of the first changes you do is put Talakai back into his regular centre position. Especially
that's a huge call from you, Franco, given how invested you are in the juniors and that, and how much you love seeing juniors come through. I think that's. I think it is the right call though.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be asking the question again: is Talakai a centre?
Well, it's also just
Keeps
I know it
rearing its head.
That was one of the calls. I rarely am correct on anything, but I did say that we should bring Talakai. Jimmy, Talakai back in.
I think you make a compelling argument. Just hearing that. Yeah, it's a good point about the attack. I mean, I think I was looking at the pure stats of Ira because he was making a lot of meters, right? But
I think that was fabricated too with some stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Talakai makes those same meters, but also is a threat
with more effect.
Silky hands.
And I think he's an 80-minute player. If for whatever reason he can't play 80 minutes at lock with McInnes out of the team, then you put him in the and obviously the back row is sewn up with Wilton and Nikora, so back to the centres for him, I think.
That's probably right.
Yeah,
all right,
we
Jimmy,
still have a good punch on the bench. Yeah, we've still got a good punch on the bench. Yeah.
Give us any other takes before I ask you for your man of the match, and we let you get back to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm meant to be at work. I really don't know. I'm too despondent. I'm trying to keep the anger in. Yeah. No, but I think we can't hit. In terms of selections, you don't want to make wholesale changes. I think the nucleus of the team I still think there's potential in the nucleus of the team. I think our forwards have potential. Something just isn't clicking. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with even Talakai not being in the centres. Missing McKinnon.
Do you think we missed? Do you think we missed a lot in defence with Hines not there? Because he's worked on his defence these last this year really immensely. He's been really strong in defence, and I don't know, we just look disjointed and disconnected.
Hines wasn't making the missed tackles like Iro was. I think it's more out wide that we had the problems.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. We just seem to like the punch in the backs as well. So
starting it up from the backs, we don't seem to have that at the moment, do we?
Yeah, and Penrith really found us out last week, and I think we're getting found out a little bit with our style of play. We have to adjust.
I'll tell you what, the offloads have been killing us of late.
Yeah, well,
absolutely killing us.
1 point, 12 to Parramatta and 2 to us at 1 point. So yeah. All right, Jimmy, give us your man of the match before we let you go.
I have to agree with Talakai. He came on. He's just monstering everyone. I mean, he was the one highlight. And the point you raised about bringing him back into the team full time, 80 minutes. We need that. We need that go forward. And
he's got it in him, so silly not to utilise it.
Yeah, and we don't lose anything off the bench, right? We've got really good impact now there. So yeah, Talakai.
I think that's probably right. All right, Jimmy, legend. Good to see you, mate.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming in. We'll see you.
I kept it clean. No swearing.
Hold on. That's true. He did keep it clean. No swearing. Thanks, Jimmy. All right, if you want to join the show like Jimmy or Williams 2.0, feel free to click on the link that is up the top of our comments. And where is it? There it is. It's up there, up the top. If you go scroll through and find it, please try not to swear too much if you come on the show. I thought that was good fun from everyone. But yeah, SJD did come through with the comment saying, Jimmy, more like Doomy. I guess that is a thing we need to think about. How doomy can you be as Sharks fans? Really, it's do you just support the team blindly, Franco, or are you allowed to be a little bit critical?
Oh, I mean, we've all been there, right? After a bad loss, but you've got to try and sort of tell yourself it's just a game. It's there for entertainment. Try and stay chin up. There's going to be another game next week. And you know what? Could be worse. We could be the Tigers or the Titans or the Bulldogs.
But the Titans have been good this last month.
Well, the last couple of weeks they have been good, but I guess more to my point, they've been in the competition. They came back in what, 2007, and they've been in how many final series? That's
You're right.
in 3 final series in 20
It could be
years.
2010 Sharks as we went through the teams that got beaten.
So I think there was a period there where before 2016, before we finally won it, there were some fans who were clinging on to some kind of positivity, and the questions were always, well, would you like to win one and then basically disappear, or would you like to be thereabouts every year and not win it? And although you'd catch a lot of ribbing from a lot of opposition fans, I'd be quite happy if we came in first or second every year and for whatever reason just didn't get it. It's easier to say that now that we have one. But
it's the greatest day ever. What are you talking about? I watched that Michael Ennis clip where he talks through all the different things, and his voice says, don't let this be your last match. If you haven't watched the Michael Ennis clip on the 2016 grand final, it's available on YouTube and also on KO Sports. You can that's always
Matty
pretty
John's interview, right?
No, that one was your man, Dan.
Oh yeah,
your man Dan, and Blocker actually interviews him on that one. So yes, that's some of our favourites. All right, well look, SJD said, we don't lose anything off the bench. You mean besides losing the cheat code?
He just plays the whole game
the whole time. So
that's right. And Peter Bissett has come through and said 2016 was the greatest moment in human history. Yes, it certainly was, Peter. And so I'll tell a story. When I was at I emceed Franco's wedding, and I talked about I got up there and talked about how beautiful his wife was looking on the day of the wedding in the Sutherland Shire, or just how beautiful she was looking on the Shire day, and how gleaming the Shire was, and how happy everyone was, and how pleased everyone. It's so good to see Franco and Gretchen so happy on their happiest day of their lives, which wasn't their wedding day. It was, in fact, when the Sharks won the 26th. Because that was actually the happiest day of their lives. And they've had 2 children since, and sorry, it's still not the happiest day of their lives. Well, maybe it's Gretchen, but it's certainly not. You don't have to argue with me there, Franco.
Not at all.
No
not
comment.
At all. No comment.
And no, it wasn't because Trump won. Thanks, SJD.
Hey boys, tonight, did the disruptor rule just not exist, or what? Is that a thing anymore? The disruptor? Because that one early on in the match on Kennedy, quite early on in the match, Klein's excuse for it when it was questioned by the Sharks was that he almost caught it.
Well, yeah, I think the reason why there were no disruptor calls called tonight was because in each scenario, there was no negative impact to the catching team. So in that scenario, he knocks it on and we get the ball back. So like we've been complaining the whole season, it's a very grey rule.
Yep.
And I can understand why he would say, I don't think he almost caught it. He wasn't close to nearly catching it, but he certainly smacks it forward, which means it's Sharks ball anyway. So why call it?
Advantage for a rule there.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise, a few other scenarios there where there were disruptors, but the catcher catches the ball anyway. So
yep.
It didn't disrupt them. They were able to hang on to the ball, so don't call it. It's a bit of a weird one. I still think it should be kicked out of the game.
It's very interpretive, isn't it?
But it's very interpretive. Yeah. I think it's a bit of rubbish, that one. We might see them do something to that rule in the off season, whether it's removing it or whether it's fine tuning some definitions around it. We'll see. But on kicking, Lats, I think our kicking this game, while we've had some commenters talking about, Trindle's big kicking, and he's got a great big boot. I think our kicking variety while we're not really known for it here, it was pretty benign. It was almost just a bomb every time.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
it was Mitch Healy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very
Actually,
much.
Mitch Healy's kicking was better than that. What am I talking about?
It was
it's very vanilla.
There was no really. There were no targets. It was just kick and pray.
Hit and
some
hope.
of them sort of didn't get the depth. Obviously, like we said, Trindle does have a massive boot, and some of those were great clearing kicks, and I think he attempted the 40-20 there once, which
I thought that was
short
enterprising.
of the mark. That was great, but
That was
needed
third
more of it.
tackle. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that
needed
was
more of it. So I think between the two of them, there was just a lot of bombs going up and a lot of hope and praise going. So that was a bit of a shame. I'm not sure that Nico would have changed that specifically, but we do know that he certainly has enterprising play, so he might have changed things up a little bit differently in other ways.
tough to say. Look, I'm going to ask this question, which is just mean. I've said that I was so worried about the Sharks' ability to win a playoff match, and I wasn't sure that we could. After the last two performances, do you think the Sharks can win a playoff match? That's 1, 2?
1. I'll win 1 and bow out the next week.
I think that might.
Unless we play like we did then and we won't win 1. But look, it's still early in the season. We've put a lot of good stuff together. If we can just get the band back together and, I don't know, just believe and play for one another again, there's no reason we can't. They had me believing a couple of weeks back that, we could have won a few finals matches this year, but wheels fell off the wagon pretty quick.
Williams has come through. I think he must be home now because he's commenting and he's got his name there. Otherwise, he's
either he's driving and
Williams has come through saying there are plenty of more opportunities for 40-20s live. It is true. Early on, should have been looking to kick on the third or fourth tackle to turn the tide. I think we're coming to the end of the show. Franco, anything else for us? What else? Any other talking points?
Yeah, sure. I think Paro had us in just about every positive stat across the game. More importantly, field position. They mentioned it earlier. They really attacked our back five, pressured them, got up in their face early on in the sets. If anyone's going to talk about being found out, that could be it, right? We know how important our back five is in getting momentum, in getting us on the front foot and keeping our engine room fresh. They didn't get that tonight, and it was shown, as I think it was Williams 2.0 mentioned. Look at the stats, meterage. There, pretty much everyone in the Parramatta squad ran for over 100 meters, and for us, we struggled. Yes, there were a couple in our outside backs, as always, but length of the field tries will also help inflate those stats. It was a bit of a moment to see our outside backs getting muscled the way they were. It's certainly something they wouldn't be used to this season. So they'll have to man up and try and get ready for that next time, because I think you'll see teams in the future trying to hit us in that scenario again and again. I'll also say a call out for Williams, who's not here. One of his stats that he wanted everyone to know was that this was Trent Barrett's first win, and it's against the Sharks. His first win at the Bulldogs was against the Sharks, and his first win at Manly was against the Sharks. So that's 3 for 3. I guess that could mean that we're his bunny. That was a bit sad. I really didn't want to see them win. I really don't like Mitch Moses. I think he's a bit of a crybaby.
Oh, they crybabies. He's funny. Crybaby.
So we're certainly going to, hear about that over the next few days about how he's the savior and all this sort of rubbish, which I'm really not looking forward to. And then I guess finally, it's worth mentioning, since there's been a lot of comments on it, the reffing. I don't think Klein is the greatest ref out there. Sometimes he over refs the game. Sometimes he certainly has his favourites. Has his own little mini crackdowns. But I really don't think he lost us this game. It was
not the reason he lost, but we lost. But man, some howlers there, like terrible calls, which led to successful challenges, and that's pretty inexcusable at that level.
We don't
have a challenge system, then you just got to deal with that. Like it's pretty poor.
It just seemed like we were underdone. We looked flat. We looked cooked. Trindle probably has an excuse after being out for a few weeks.
But that should have been incentive to go hard and really put in.
Oh, absolutely, it should have.
So
yeah, but ultimately the whole team looked
flat. But no
slow.
game time, I guess, makes it hard.
Yeah, there's difference between training and game time. But Moses has been out with a broken foot for quite a while, and he didn't seem too gassed.
No.
I don't know. I think if you take out our bench, pretty much man for man, we looked lethargic.
Do you reckon Barrett saved Moses for this game against us? Do you reckon Moses should have been back last week?
Oh yeah, they kept him on ice so that he wouldn't get picked for Origin. I'm sure of it.
Just tactics there, I think.
If they could get him back, they would have picked him. I think that's not right.
No, they wanted to.
All right, let's get your man of the matches. Or think about your man of the matches, fellas. As we just go through the last of the comments we've got here. Aussie Devils come through. Can't bench Hiroshima after an average game. Yeah, Hiroshima. Talakai is much more impressive off the bench. Just have to play him longer. I do agree with that, Aussie Devil. If we're going to play Talakai off the bench, we do have to get him in. And then SJD is just coming back to you up there, Aussie Devil. All right, perfect. Lats, who was your man of the match?
Mate, 3-2-1, Kennedy, Hunt, closely followed by Talakai.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought Kennedy was good there in a lot of his efforts, and just in defence, I thought he was pretty strong as well.
1, 2, 3. I'm going to go with.
Why would you change it from Latz's order then, Franco?
Because keep the best till last.
Because it's Franco.
Why would you just go last? Because it's Franco, of course. All right, so 1.4.
1 point is probably I'm giving it to. I'm going to give it to Rudolph. Actually, I thought, he didn't make as much of an impact as the other benchies, but he certainly was an energy. And then
his effort was right there, wasn't it?
His effort was there. He shored up the defense. So he was good. Then my 2 is Talakai, and my 1, even if you take away that fantastic try at the end of the first half, it's Kennedy. He was really good. Yes, he got steamrolled by Sivo there, but really the team was on the defensive the whole time. He had some good goal line defensive moments. He made some good plays. He took a couple of hit ups, multiple sets, just to try and keep the guys rolling forward. Really had a good, strong game.
That little chip over from Moses towards the end there, infield towards the post, where he'd made the tackle out on that sort of on that wing there, and just could see it happening right in front of him, and just bolted, competed, and otherwise they were in again. His efforts were really good.
Fair enough. I'll go. I've got to do it backwards.
While you're thinking, Boldo,
can you go 2-1-3, Boldo?
I'll say I would have liked to have seen more from Brayley. I think this was another opportunity for him to stand up.
I think that's right.
He topped the tackle count for us, didn't he?
Oh, but he did what Brayley does, right? He tackled well.
That's 100%.
He had a great service out of dummy half. He even had a few good scoots, but overall, I think he only ran for 34 meters. Didn't kick at all. So I think he should have taken a bit more of a control of that game with both Nico and McInnes out of the game. I think that was his opportunity to sort of show that he's a real leader of the team.
I think that's right. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be giving Brayley my points. I think I'll go 1 point. Oh God, I can't do it your way, Franco. It's just too hard.
Dally M style, mate.
I thought Hunt was impressed me, so I'm going to give him the 3. I'll go Talakai the 2, and I still didn't mind Ronaldo. That try was brilliant. I'm going to give it something to Ronaldo because I think he deserves it just for that try. And then SJD's given his 3-2-1, which is not what I was expecting. He's got 3 lads, 2 Franco, 1 Boldo. All right, thanks, mate.
SJD, I'll send you that $50, mate. I promised you.
Yeah, cool. All right, yeah, talk to you later, SJD. And then Anya quickly's come through with Nico knows what Williams 2.0 knows his stuff. A bingo. Loving this reality debrief, gentlemen. Yeah, well, we do try and give you how we're just feeling and connect you with what it's like to be a Sharks and hopefully make pet food out of the ponies next week. And yeah, we are praying as per. All right, perfect. Yeah, sorry, SJ, I didn't have Kennedy in my 3-2-1. Well, there's a different story there. I've never been the biggest Kennedy fan, actually, SJD. You might just be ousting me for that. But yeah, we'll come back to that one. And then Aussie Devils come through with 3 for Talakai, 2 for Ronaldo, and 1 for Jimmy for his honest input. Yeah, I did 1 for Jimmy, not for swearing, to be honest. All right.
You should get 3 for that.
You should get 3 for that. Well, thanks for coming in, everyone. If you are new to the show and just watching us for the first time, do hit the subscribe button. It helps you get notified of all of the videos that we put out. We do a Chronicles each week where we look at a past match against a team that we're playing this week, a past classic match. This week we're doing the 2004 Sharks Broncos match from up at Suncorp Stadium. I think I was going to volunteer you to try and do that one, Lats. Are you available for that?
Yeah, mate. Lock me in.
All right, perfect. We'll get you in for that one. And then on Tuesday night, we have the regular show, which is the ET Stand podcast. I'm hoping all 5 of us will be on that one with all of our regulars on that. We will have an all-time best New South Wales Sharks players 17 as what we're going to brief Williams on that one. We will also have this month's installment of Boldo's Tiers, where I rank the top Sharks players according to my crazy schemes.
We've pretty much given up that Kennedy probably won't be up the top there, mate. So
Kennedy won't. He's not gonna be up the top. I don't know who's going to be up the top at the moment. I mean, racking my brain thinking about that. So tune in on Tuesday night. And then, yeah, thank you, SJD. We have got to 200 subs. So we have got that. Well, who's the 200? Who's Shark 200? Franco, Lats, do you remember that?
was it? No, it was. Oh, was it Brian someone or something?
Brian Noble.
Brian Noble. I should know because that was my wife's maiden name. But anyway.
Oh, it was your wife's
Brian.
maiden name.
Yeah, Brian. That's a middle name.
Yeah, Brian Noble. Well, thanks for everyone's support over your time getting involved. And chin up, Sharks fans. Sharks go down, was it 22-34 to the Parramatta Eels. Look, we know it's tough being a Sharks fan at times, but just remember, it's never as bad as you think. And so the Sharks will be back better than ever next week. We're still at the top of the table or somewhere near the top. We are going to play finals football. We are going to be in it. We are building towards something good. We'll be better next week, and we'll start to get some players back. Sharks will be back. Up, Cronulla. See you guys.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.